stream. My name is Luna, and I am happy to be here and happy that you can join me. So I want to say before we get started, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you don't miss any of the next videos. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be walking through just the settings of build mode. Now I do have a couple of other videos where I go through the whole process of how do I start playing The Sims. We touch on cast, we touch on building, and we do touch on actual playing. This one I only want to focus on the build by and menu board of building. So then this way you don't have to go through all of that. If you want to, that's fine, but if you just need to touch base on building, this is the place to start. And be sure to check out that beginners playlist that I have on my channel as well. So you want to become a builder in The Sims, and it can be a little intimidating with everything that's going on when you hit into build mode. So we're going to break down a little of sections here, and I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks that you can get by if you want to get started. I will keep this friendly for PC and console, so I'll try to avoid using any of type of mods that I have, or trying to pinpoint hotkeys for controller and PC the best that I can. I mainly play on PC and I haven't played on controller for quite a while, so I'm a little shabby on what you can do, and I know they have changed controls recently as when this video posts, so I don't know what really hits or miss anymore on the controller. So in build mode, the main things that you really want to get to know is on the top left hand side, this is your venue info. If you click that little house on the top left hand side, this is where you'll be able to change your lot type, whether you want something residential, and then from there, all of these lot types will change depending on what DLCs you have, and also on PC, what mods you have. Some mods give us different lot types, as well as DLC, downloadable content, gives us different lot types as well. So you can go through and look at all of these different lot types and decide what you want. Depending on what lot type you click, you can then look at the requirements of what the lot needs. So if we were to build a park, it's telling us that these are all the items we have to have for our lot to be qualified as a park. If you don't know where to find these items, you can easily click on said toilet, and it will pull up in our menu what are all the toilet options that we can use for this lot type. Once you close that, you have this little light bulb here. Once you pick out your venue type, you can go look in the gallery, and the gallery will actually pull up different gallery types that you have if you want to place one of these. So like Magnolia Blossom comes with base game, Desert Bloom comes with base game, and so on and so forth. These are different ones that you can choose from, or you can search and type for your own, but this is what's pulling up what is already in our gallery if we wanted to do that. And the same thing going forward when you go to pick your venue lot type, that's what this little light bulb is. You can click on that and it's going to bring up your gallery if you want to preload and put something down that you already have from there. All right, going next to this little question mark, that is our traits panel. When you click on this, you can give your lot type different traits. So if you want to click on that, you can put different things and it'll tell you what those traits are going to do. Again, you will have different traits per DLC and if you use mods in your game. So Cat Hangout came with cats and dogs. This is telling me if I add this to my lot, stray cats really love this a lot, meow. And that means exactly that, stray cats. If you don't want a lot of cats on your lot, I would not suggest you use Cat Hangout. But say you have cat friendly, that means cat owners will visit this lot with their cats. You may get a lot of people with their cats, so kind of be leery if you don't want a lot of cats and people at your house. The same thing with dogs. And then you can also make fast internet. A great online connection helps out those looking to improve their programming, video gaming, and writing skills. So say you have a sim that you want to be a gamer, fast internet would be perfect for them. Or you have someone that's going to be in programming, writing skills, because they're going to be using their computer to write. They need fast internet. Say you have, let me see, I think there's one for teenagers. You make a spot that is handy for teenagers. This teen neighborhood will make a good spot for teens to hang out, a good place for them to meet up. I do this with, say, my certain types of parks, certain types of venues that I want teens to go out. I have a skate park that is really good for teenagers to hang out. So different things depending on what you want to build on. This is lot challenges. I don't use a lot of lot challenges. It just depends on the type of style that I want to use. So you can have a cursed lot, you can have creepy crawlies, and again, each one of these will, again, depending on the mods and CC that you use, and the DLC that you use will change what kind of lot things you have. Like these live in anything that's a mod that I have. but one of these is cursed, and this came with city living. So lots of things seem to go wrong here. If you want to have a spot out of city living that you want to have cursed. And then, what is one? Recycle and reuse. This came with eco lifestyle. The slot generates compostable and recyclable trash. The outdoor cans are no longer bottomless. Actively managing the trash output is a must. So some of these traits give you more in-game depth of what your Sims need to do. So if you were to use this, you now have to monitor your trash cans, and they're not just bottomless. You can throw away. You would actually have a Sim have to go out and take their trash out. So these sections are usually what I like to use, lot traits. I don't use lot challenges a lot. It just depends on the type of gameplay. So as we go back to our lot info panel, the lot will tell you as of right now how much it is valued at. It is empty right now. But as we put items on there, that lot value will go up. So if you're ever trying to build a lot and stay under a certain type of value, that is where you could keep track of. And then also your lot dimensions. We are on a 20 by 15 lot. And so of course that won't change, but at least it tells you what lot size you're on. I think the lot value is very handy, like I said, especially if you're trying to do some type of a challenge, or if you want to do a build under, say, 20k simoleons. This is something to really keep track of, because when we're in build mode, we have infinite money. So there's really no other way to keep track of your money unless you have an already sim on your lot. All right, going over to the right-hand side, this top menu here is our friend. When you first use it, you can click on the little arrow, and it will give you a hotkey if you want to use that. I like using my mouse. It's what I'm used to. All right, so this is our select tool. So our select tool, anytime anything is highlighted green, that is going to indicate what we are on, okay? So if you want to be on this, but you're on the wrong thing, make sure you're getting rid of the other one and using what you need. Our select tool is just as that. It gives us the option to just select and move what we want. So say we put any of this down, we can easily just select it and then move it back where we want to. And then going next, this is, actually I'm gonna put this up here. We're gonna select this one so I can show you what exactly we are doing. All right, so our next tool is the eyedropper. The eyedropper is any type of item if you're not sure where you found this item. So say I picked that bathroom and then I went over to something else and I can't remember where I got this item. Your eyedropper, hover over it, it will tell you the name of the item, but you can click on the eyedropper and it will take you to the item that you actually got. Sometimes this can be a little tricky because you have to look for it outlined in green out of all of the items. So when I click my eyedropper, it did take me to the item of where it's at and where it's located. It's telling me it's in the plumbing, and then it highlighted it green, and then it gave me the item, so then I can place it back. So let's do this with another item. Let's go somewhere else really fast. Go back to our eyedropper, click our toilet. It's called the Swan Throne. We're gonna click on it, and then boom, it brought us straight to the item and put it back into our hands. That is so handy, and I use the eyedropper a lot. Now, our next item is the design tool. Our design tool is going to give us the option to change the color of any said item at any time. Once you hover over it, you're going to see that little color swatch thing. And then once you click on that, you can pick the color of what you want to change your item to at any time. I do this a lot because sometimes I don't know what color I want to make something. So I will just place items and then I'll go over them and change the colors later. That's how I like to use it, and I think it's pretty handy. The next tool that we have is the sledgehammer. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the sledgehammer is what we're going to use to remove an item. So it highlights yellow when you're ready to remove it, and then we can just click, 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 and get rid of those. And then we have next our arrow buttons, undo and redo. So if we want to undo something and then we want to redo it, it's literally that simple. If I wanted to go back and redo everything, and you can literally go back, I think, all the way until you have never done anything. So those arrows are very handy, especially if you're trying to test out a couple things and you're like, hey, you know what? I just need to go back like 5 spaces because I don't remember what it was I did. And there you go. There's that. Up next is where you can save to your library and or the gallery. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set down number 1. Actually, let's go ahead and get rid of all of these so I can show you the difference exactly of how these would be set. So say I grab, let's just grab this room right here. We're going to buy that and I'll show you what that is as well. So say we have this room that we built. Say it was a full house. Let's grab another room and let's just attach it. No rhyme or reason. We're just going to attach them all together. All right, so say we have these two rooms. Say this was our house that we wanted to save. We would click on our little folder with the arrow going down, and that first house says Save Lot. We will click on Save Our Lot. We can change our name right up top. It'll show us the different angles of the pictures that the game is choosing for us. We can then go down. It'll tell us what lot type it is. It'll tell us how much it's valued. We can then click on bedrooms from 0 to 9 and bathrooms from 0 to 9. And then you can go down and put any type of description that you would like of your build. From there, you have two different options. The first one is the cloud with an arrow pointing up. This is where you would save your lot to the gallery. The gallery is the option where anyone on the internet could download, comment, or like your build. If they want to use it at all, when they do download it, it does take your information with them. So it'll keep posted who created it, how much it is, all the things that you add to it. On the far right-hand side, that says Save to My Library. Your library is private. Think of it that way. Once you save it to your library, the only person that can see them is you. You can share from the library from there if you want to share it to the gallery. So the gallery is where everyone in the world can see and download. The library is your personal safe space, and that's where only you can see. So you choose from there how you want to save your lot. The second thing, when you're on this the same Save to Library section, you see underneath where it says Save Room, but as of right now, it says no room is selected. If you only want to save a specific room, you have to highlight and click on the room, and you see how it outlines only this room and that white? This is where you would now save specifically this room. Say that's not the room we want to save, we would go over to this one, and now all of this room is highlighted in white. If it's not highlighted in white, it is not going to save as that room. If you have anything like a platform, it's going to separate the rooms. And then sometimes if you have the walls going like in and out, like different ways, it won't save as a whole room. But say we want to save this kitchen. We're going to now click on the Save a Room because it's now highlighted white. We would click on that and it would be the exact same way as if we were saving a lot. We can title this. We can now choose whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, living room, dining room, study, outdoors, kids room, career, and miscellaneous. Now, the only difference is you don't have the option to choose how many bathrooms, how many bedrooms, because it is one room. But if it was a bathroom, it does have an option for bathroom. So it will show up in the gallery as an option for a bathroom. And then you have the same options. You can either add it to the gallery or you can save it to your library. Again, you can go down, add your description. It's telling us how big this room is. It is a 6x5. And then if you are using CC, it will automatically check modded. But if you know that it's modded and it hasn't checked, you can click that it is modded at all. And then it tells people use at your discretion and etc. etc. So if we wanted to do it to, what is this? This bathroom. Again, we would click on our room, click on that folder with the arrow pointing down, go down to Save Room, and then it now picks the room for us. Another good thing that you can do with this room, what you can't do with big builds, is you can actually change the screenshot of the picture that which angle you would like. So I can go through as many times and it's going to give me the different options of how I want to save this picture. Now, of course, we don't get to go in there and finagle it ourselves. We just get to click the camera and pick which one that we like. I like this angle, so this is the angle that I would use. I would type in my name, all of my information, go on from there and save it to the gallery or the library. One thing I will say, if you save it to the gallery, it will automatically save to your library. So you don't have to save to library one time and then save to your gallery again. If you save to your library first and then take it to the gallery, it will normally make a double copy in your library. Personally, personal preference, I don't like having double copies in my library. So I usually delete them and just have one copy. All right, so as we're going across this menu, before we get to the next one, the next one is Move Your House. So you have 4 arrows, one going up, down, left, and right. You're going to click on Move Your House. And just like the Save to My Library, we have 2 options here. The first option is just Move Your House. So say we want to just move the house and everything attached. We click on that first one and we can either rotate everything left and right, or we can click on those 4 arrows and it'll just move the house. So I'm going to show you the difference as well. We're going to add a couple of other things around us so you can see the difference in what moving, oh, that's big, moving a house compared to moving the lot. So as I click on move my house, it's only letting me move my house. My trees are staying where they are. Nothing else is moving with them. The second option is we have move the lot. So when we click on move the lot, it is going to pick up the trees as well. And now those green squares, it's showing me where I can move it to. So if we were to put that down, and let's actually put these trees a little bit closer so you can see a difference. All right, so we're going to move our lot, and those green squares are the trees, those small little squares. So now when we click up our 4 arrows, wherever we move our lot, the trees will go. If it turns yellow, it's going to delete because we have to stay within these white lines of our grid. So we don't want it to be yellow. We're going to scooch it over just a little bit. We're going to hit check mark, and now our entire lot has moved over to this corner. So those are the difference between moving house and moving lot. Now we're going to move next to our bulldozer. Our bulldozer has 2 options as well. Our first option is just bulldoze your lot. That means it's going to delete everything. Now, when you delete everything, you see that there's no option to undo that. Uh-oh. So be careful when you're doing a bulldoze your lot, because once it's bulldozed, it's not going to be able to come back. All right, so now I'm going to show you what the second option is, which is going to be bulldoze terrain. So let's say that we had some flower painting here. We had some raising and lowering. Like I said, we're just gonna do something really, really fast here. Let's say we had some water filling up here. Okay, so let's say we had all of this going on, and we're like, whoa. You know what? That's not what I want to do. Is without bulldozing the entire lot, we just want to bulldoze the terrain. So that is going to take all of that away, and this is before, and this was after. Now, the terrain tool does have a undo redo button. So if you mess up, you can go back and be like, okay, wait, I wasn't ready to undo all of that. But then again, if you want to bulldoze the entire lot, you're going to click that. It's going to ask you, are you sure? And we're going to click yes, and it's going to get rid of everything. Next to our bulldoze tool, we have pretty much our time. This is where we'll be able to change it from night to day. I usually like to build an afternoon. That's usually when most of the lots where it's the brightest and I can get in and see everything. But it's just one click. It's going to turn it to evening. Then it's going to turn it to night. And then you get morning, afternoon, evening, night, morning, afternoon, evening, night. So if we were to go in and check that, you can look around and see that it is now in our nighttime setting, and so on and so forth. FYI, you cannot go in full person mode. You can't go in first person mode and build mode. I do have a mod called Better Build By, and you can check out that video if that is something that you would like to do. But yeah, first person mode, no in build by, but you can go in first person mode in live mode. FYI. All right, so now we're going to get to our second section up top in our other side menu here. So this very first one is manage worlds. If I ever want to go back to the world setting where you can pick which world you're going into, I would click that and it's going to ask me, am I sure? Right now, we're not going to go back, but anytime you want to go back, you can, and then you can always come back to this load if you haven't saved it yet to hurry up and hit save. Our second option is our light bulb. This is where it's going to take us to our gallery where we've kind of been before. Our gallery and our library, and you can look online in other people's galleries and what news is coming on in The Sims. All these tabs up top are where everything is going to be online, and then your personal gallery is here, and then your personal library is here as well. Right now I have it checked to just show certain lots, but you can change what it filters into as well. If you only want to see Max's stuff, if you only want to see certain packs, there's a lot of different ways that you can filter out your own gallery and your own library. And like I said, mine, I saw a couple of doubles of mine in there. I need to go back in and get rid of those. That's just my personal preference. It drives me insane when it auto-saves 2 different items. All right, going on next, if you were to build a 2-story house, and you can go up to, oops, here, let's do this. We're just gonna build a little square real fast. So say we wanna make a double-story house, 3-story house. Anytime you hit your up button, it is gonna make a new floor for you. So then we're gonna go up again, make a new floor, up again, make a new floor, up again. All right, and that's as far as we can go. So we can have 4 floors. The 5th floor is a no-no. So then you can always just go back down when you want to work on floor by floor. But then if you also want to go to the basement, you also have a basement option. So I can put that basement there. And guess what? We can go down again. We can go down again. And we can go down again. So, and then we just go up, 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 and then you can see all the floors of the basement. Of course, all you need to get up or down is just add your stairs, and then you can play as low as 4 floors down, and you can play as high as 4 floors up. So we're gonna go ahead and bulldoze the lot. So now it takes everything away, and now we can't go up and down because now we're just on 1 level. Up next is our walls up or down. You will see this very common in simmers. Some of us like to play with all walls up. So when all the walls go up, no matter where you are, you won't be able to see your sim. So if they're standing, say, in this area, I have to pan my camera to be able to see them. Now, this is really good for certain type of gameplay, if there's something that you really just want to get a good picture for. But normally, we are kind of torn between all walls down. So when all walls are down, you literally only see the base of your game, the base of your build. Whether there's a door there, let's actually put a couple things out so you can kind of see the difference in that. So we'll just grab that really fast and give me a window or 2. And then let's add another door just over there. So if I want to have all walls down, oops. If I want to have all walls down, it's going to show me where my windows are, where my doors are. But you usually will not see any decor on the walls. Sometimes I've noticed that it does glitch. Like I said, I don't know if I want to call it glitch. But sometimes it will show items on the wall. And so it's kind of like it's see-through, but it's not see-through. Like you'll be able to see certain things at times, but then I have noticed that sometimes it just doesn't show it. So say we have all of our walls down. So you see how it is showing some of my decor items. This isn't a bad way to play. I personally like feeling like I'm in the house with my Sims, especially when I go to first person. So sometimes I don't like just seeing things like floating, and that kind of drives me insane sometimes. So then the next one is walls down, walls cut away. So anytime I rotate, you see how it's going to take out this first wall, but all of these walls are still here. This is what I mean by I like to feel like I'm actually in the house with my sim. So as I turn, now this wall is here, that wall is gone. So it's literally cutting away the wall depending on which way your camera is facing. So this is how I normally like to play. It's very rare that I have the all walls up and all walls down. This is usually my go-to when I have that. All right, recently added next to that is our help center. This is Emily. Emily's been really handy for new simmers coming in. When the Sims game went free, they added Emily, and you can do tutorials anytime. I do know that if you do a full tutorial when you first start and you go into your first live option with your sim, I believe she gives you an extra 1,000 simoleons for you to start out with. So sometimes Emily can be a lot of help if you just go through the process and learn from there. So that is nice that they recently added within the last year to have that Emily there for our new simmers. Up next is our camera controls. So this is where it can get a little interesting with our camera controls. So I like to use my mouse. My mouse key, my roll key is my zoom in and out. I personally use the Sims 4 camera. I played Sims 3 on Xbox and it wasn't really the best that I liked. So I'm not fond of Sims 3 camera. But Sims 4 is literal to me. When I click down my right button on my mouse and spin, I spin the direction I'm turning my mouse. And when I click and hold my left button on my mouse, I can click it and kind of like drag the screen. So left click drags, right click spins. That just makes more sense to me. Or you can open up your camera control and you see that negative and positive. This is where you can zoom in and zoom out. And then the next button is rotate view. You can click that to rotate one way, and then you can click the other button to rotate the other way. I am highlighted on my Sims 4 camera. The Sims 3 camera is where, if this is your preference, go for it. The difference is when I left click on my mouse with my Sims 3 camera, it's not doing anything. When I right click on my Sims 3 camera, it does this. I don't really know what this is, but I don't like it. So whatever your preference is, this is pretty much how, it's not really dragging the screen. I don't really know what it's doing, but when you're in Sims 3 camera, I feel like you have to use these controls compared to using my mouse. So I stick to my Sim 3 camera, personally. If you want to learn how to rotate on your Sims 3 camera, there is a video that I created of that and a short. Be sure to check that out if you want to know that little hint. And it's also in my building tutorial to check that out. But I am a Sims 3 person, a Sims 4 camera person. That's just my personal preference. Underneath the camera option, you also have the top view. So if you want to get a top view of your build, it's easy as that. Wherever you click that top view, and then you don't want to look at top view, you click it back, and now you're at a top view. This is where I do a lot of top view shots. This is where I can also tell if I have things kind of centered and like balance how I would like it, and so on and so forth. So we'll get rid of that. The next one is our notification wall. This notification wall is always there as well during the game. So anytime you get notifications of anything going on in your game, this is where it would be. If you want to clear these out, you just hit that trash can. It's going to ask you yes or no, and then you just get rid of that, and it clears up. It will tell you when your notification wall is full. Anytime it gets full, go ahead and just delete it. There's not really much there that you need, just to let you know what's going on in your game. Our three dots are our options menu. This is where you'll be able to save as, game options, and all those other things. If you want to check out any of this, this is where you save. This is where you exit menu, manage worlds, and exit your game. So that menu bar is something of your friend. So hopefully you're doing really, really well. That is just the top half of our building mode and what we have to offer. We're now going to go down to the bottom of our build mode where our menu bars are and how you can actually get ready to start building. We're going to go ahead and bulldoze this slot. All right, so this bottom half here, this is where we are going to start building. The very top option is our build. You see this little bitty house. The next one is our objects by room. The second one is objects by function, and then this is your household inventory. When you're building and there's no sim living on the slot, there is no inventory. So sometimes when Sims have things, it'll go into their build inventory, not their pocket inventory, which that's different from gameplay. Anytime they do have something, it would be here, and you'd be able to click on it. It's not something you'd have to buy again because they already own it. All right, so above our build option, we do have a search bar. The search bar in The Sims isn't as literal as you think. If I start typing toilet, it's gonna bring up everything that has the word toilet in it. Now, if you know what the item is called, whether it's a raw toilet, a toilet paper holder roll, open air natural toilet, it's gonna tell you where it's located. And then I put the toilet. If I click on that, it doesn't really take me to what I want, as you can see. So I would never suggest you click on what it's recommending. I would just type in what I might type in it. I would just type in what you're looking for, and then I would click on the green word that says text search slot. I would click on that, and then it will pull up the toilets that you want. So keep in mind that whatever you type in, don't click on what it's suggesting. Just click on that first green section, and then it'll pull up everything that has that word in it. It's just, the search bar is weird in The Sims, to say the least. So as we're going down, we're in our build, we are in our build section. As you go over different sections of this little mini house, it's going to highlight the things that you want. So if you want to do building, you're going to click on that wall, and you see how it highlights purple? You now have all of these options to build. Each one is going to tell you what they're for. This one is just a single wall. This one is if you want to build a room, and then you can adjust it. And it's going to tell you how much that room is going to cost. Right now it's at 1,320 simoleons. If I go smaller, the price is going to go down 720 simoleons and so forth. But yeah, as you go through, it'll tell you what is what. We have platforms. This is your custom room tool. So if I want to go through and make some weird craziness things going on here, that's how I would do that. I personally don't like doing this because I think it's a little complicated. But if you want some strange shapes, the custom tool is. But I usually stick to my wall tool B or my room tool. From there, it'll tell you the basement tool. Let's delete this and I can show you how the basement tool works. So, say you want a basement tool. You have a custom basement tool and then you have the square basement. You can start from here and you can draw your basement from there. As you see, you can't see that, but if we go down, there is now our basement tool. And then I would be here. When I do another basement, it's going to keep it going downwards. But say I want to add on to the basement level I'm on, I would go to my normal wall tool, and then I can add on to the basement of this level, and then I could go down and add on to the basement of that level. So if you want to keep going downward, you're going to end up using that basement tool. Just keep that in mind, and then you can use your normal build tool if you want to stay on that level of the basement. And then from there, you would add your top level. I don't do a lot of basements a lot, but they can be handy at times. I'll go ahead and just show you how your basements would line up if you want to do that. And so it's going to tell you, like, if I put the stairs here, there's nothing above me where they can get to. So you need to make sure it stays in the green for your basements. And then when I go upwards, it's now showing me that there are my stairs. And that's where my Sims would go down into to get to the basement. Alright, so as you know, like I said, whatever you highlight, there's roof trims, and then we also have spandrels, we have columns, this is the stairs that I clicked on, our stair railings, so anything you click over, it's going to take you to what you're looking for to build. Wall patterns, roofs, chimneys. This is our outdoor plants, and then these are going to break down into trees, bushes, flowers, rocks, and then anytime you see this infinity symbol or that sideways 8, this means it's going to show everything in this category. So if I don't want to break down trees, flowers, bushes, rocks, I click on everything and it's going to pull up everything, and then I just have to scroll through. I am 50-50 on using everything. It just depends on what it is I'm working on. If I know I specifically want flowers, then I'll specifically click on flowers. From there, you have outdoor water decor. This is where you can change any of your water, whether it be a swimming pool or a pond. And then this is your terrain tool. The terrain tool is very tricky. You have to take your time and patience with the terrain tool. So our terrain is going to do things like change the size of our yard. You can have raised terrain, lower terrain, smooth and flattened terrain. Then we have flattened terrain, flattened to height, or flattened lot. So it really just depends on how you want to practice and learn these different terrain tools, depending on what you want to do. And then we also have a erase tool. So if I say I want to go in and add some flowers to the ground, you can adjust your softness and your hardness. So if I don't want it to really come through, I'm going to use that hardness. But if I want it to be a little bit softer and add like some dirt, I can kind of play with and layer my terrain. Okay, so that's what all of this is going to do. So when your terrain, you have a paint, you have an erase, you have a terrain manipulation, and then you also have a water tool. This is going to fill up my water all the way. This is going to take water away. This is going to fill to height, technically. And then this is where you can actually lower your water. So if we were to add that, and then we can click on lower water, and you see how the terrain has lines? Depending on what line you click on, that's where the line is going to go for water. So if I want to take water away, it's filling up to every one of those lines. So say I want it to go to this line, and then I want it to go all the way up. So that's really nice to have that, the lines and all the terrain, and then we can get rid of that. Now say we want to edit our terrain, we're going to click bulldoze that, and then we can get out of our terrain tool. The terrain tool also has grass, flowers, stone, pavement, dirt, and sand. So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to add that hardness and softness. You also have circles and you also have squares. So depending on how big you want something, say I wanted all of that to be that size for whatever reason, but then I come back and I want to actually lower my circle and I want to add some detailing with some dirt, but I want it to be a little bit softer. I can go in and just kind of play around with this, with my softness, and figure out how I want this to go. If I want it to be softer, and then that might be it for me. Sometimes I like to go in with as soft as possible, and then I can go over it as many times as I want to. I would rather go in and have to add stuff than have to figure out how to take it off. Because sometimes when you go to take it off, it takes off a little bit too much, and then I have to go back and then re-add it. So I like to start very soft, and then just add as needed. This is where you get that really realism of the grounds of your floor. So now it looks like, okay, you know, it's not perfect, but it still has some feeling to it that, you know, it's been created by a person per se. And again, once we want to get rid of this terrain, we would just click erase terrain, and that's how we get rid of that. So a lot of this stuff really is cohesive with one another, which is really, really nice. So as we've gone through this build mode, this is where we're going to get all of our build items to add to our house. Everything you just highlight over, and it's going to take you to where you want to go. This little section is styled by rooms. Now, say you want to actually take different types of rooms and put them together yourself. This is where all of these rooms are already pre-made. Some of them are from others from the gallery, and they come from certain packs, and then you can save your own rooms. So these are rooms that I have saved currently that are in my gallery, but then I can go on, click browse the gallery for rooms. It disconnected me, which is common. But say I want to go check the certain gallery for specific rooms myself, and it's going to bring me here. This section used to only save your rooms. This also changed recently, which I'm not too fond of this, because I used to save all of my own personal rooms, and I would find them here. Now it only saves like the first 5, and then from there you have to go to the gallery to get your own rooms. But it does break it down by category, of course. But my room, I think, is... Okay, that's an office, so it saved it in the office section. So say I wanted to put my room down. I would click on my room, and then I would literally just put it down. Anytime now. There it is. So say I wanted this room. This is a room that I created, so now it is down, and then I can use it however I want and move it where I need to. But say we wanted to use a room that was already styled. So these are rooms that are already styled in different categories, or you can click all. Now, there's a little trick that you can do in the room here. Let's go ahead and get rid of lots. So say that we want a bedroom. We click on a bedroom, and we're going through, and we're like, hey, it gives you the title, it tells you how much it is, and it gives you a little description. To purchase a styled room, click it, select your preferred color palette, and click the buy room. All right, so we're going to click on this room. It tells us these are the 3 options of the color palettes. So it's not just that first color palette that we see, but we're going to get 3 options. Let's say we want to stick with the second one. We can buy the entire room and place it however we want, or say we just want this wall decor. We can click on that wall decor, and we can take the wall decor. If we want this bed, we can click on this bed and just take the bed. That is what's cool. You can highlight any item, any item, click on it, and take it if you don't want the entire room. As we highlight over something, it'll tell us how much it is. It'll tell us how much the power consumption and the description of that item. But let's go ahead and undo all this. Let's say we do want the entire room. We're going to click on buy room, and now we can place it and put it however we want. Another thing I want to talk about, when you place down any type of room, you can raise and lower your height. So say this was the first of our house. You see this little arrow in the middle? This is where you can raise your base of your house. So going from there, say we want a house off the ground for whatever reason, we're going to grab our stairs, and now we can add our stairs to our door. And then say we want it back lower, we can lower it down. And then if we don't want stairs, oops, we're going to undo that. So I keep grabbing the rug. Say we don't want stairs, it'll lower it down, and it'll get rid of that rug. So another thing that you can do when you are clicking on your room, there are multiple menus that show up now. So as our room is highlighted, and you can do this with any section of your house, you can have small wall, you can have short walls, you can have medium walls, or you can have tall walls. So you see that difference in everything that just happened. We'll do half walls here. So we have our tall wall, our medium wall, and our short wall. So I usually like to stick with the medium wall. I feel like that's the most comfortable, but there have been a couple times I've done the tall walls. So as this room is highlighted, we have our move option. We can click that and we can move it. It is free simoleons to move. So anytime you want to like, hey, I need this over here, you can click that. If you need to rotate, you have our rotate buttons. If you want to copy this room, make sure it's highlighted. Click those two little papers. I call them papers. But there's two squares here. Click copy, and now we have a duplicate of the room that we just put here. Another thing that we can do, if you want to raise or lower your platform, the far left-hand side up and down arrows when your room is highlighted, this is a lower platform, so you see how everything's going down in the ground. It's not a basement, it's a platform. And then you can also hit your up button, and you can raise your platform. So those are what a little in-room, I call them the in-room menu does, if you would like to set up that. Now, one thing that I also want to notice for you guys, you see how these rooms are not connected. If I want this room to be higher, it will go higher on its own. But once you try and add them together, they cannot connect. They have to be the same height. So, say we want to go ahead and connect these. I have to lower this room back down. Now I can connect the two. But even though they're connected, once I start raising that base, it's going to go with it. So if you want something that is separate heights, do not connect them. Keep them separate, so then you can raise and lower however you would like with their going forward. So if I want that to go down in the ground, now I can have these going to different heights. So this is where you can get a lot of your items when you're building. Everything you click on, just about, has extra settings. So you have all of your build settings, and then on top of that, it also has half walls, wall trims, and platform trims. So depending on what you're working on, click on these different menus to just point and click and play with them. So you can kind of get comfortable with that. There's a lot of different, like a menu inside of a menu. So, and if I went through all of that, we'd be here for hours. So we do have different wall heights here. And so you can raise and lower your different walls as we're clicking those, depending on, if you have high walls, then this will be able to be used. And let me go ahead and change this to high walls. So now I have high walls, so now I can use this. If I don't have high walls, I can't use some of these. So just like there'll be high doors, low doors, mid doors. If you don't have high walls, it will be shaded out gray. Those items you cannot use. But yeah, every little menu has its own menu, but just click and play around with it and you'll find the things that you prefer. Going down to our next section is objects by room. Now we're going to be pulling into decorating our build once we get our room, our house, or whatever we're building furnished. So when we click on objects by room, it literally has it broken down into areas. We have our kitchen, our bathroom, our bedroom, our living room, our office, that's a dining room first. Sorry, dining room first, study, kids room, and then outdoors. So as we click on each of these categories, again, we highlight the different areas of what we want. If we want dressers, it's going to pull up everything that would qualify for a dresser or anything to do with clothing. When we click on beds, it's going to give us everything that is any form of bed that we have, whether it be a child bed, adult bed, a pet bed, etc. And then ceiling decorations. Now sometimes you can click on, say, curtains and the window coverings, and they're going to be the same in every category no matter where we are. So I like to really find items of this, especially if you're working on specific rooms. It's easy to use if you know you're working on a bathroom, then you can just go to your bathroom and just go category by category, from decorations to sinks to toilets to showers, etc. Going down, you're going to have objects by function. So these are going to break up the items in the game that are used by their function. I usually have it on show all, but it is nice to do this drop down menu. And now, if you're looking for something that is for comfort, it has a comfort section. And then you're going to have love seats, couches, desk chairs, dining room chairs, living chairs, and etc. If you see a box with 3 circles in it, this is a miscellaneous section. And these are usually items, I find a lot of my CC items in here. That's usually where I find miscellaneous. Or things like this fountain. They can sit on this fountain, so that's why it is a miscellaneous comfort item. This is something that the Sims can sit on. But this can be very, very handy if you know for sure you want outside activities, if you specifically want decorations. It'll break down what type of decorations. Like I have indoor plants, I have paintings and posters, I have mirrors, window coverings, sculptures, ceiling decorations, and then so on and so forth. And then there's always a miscellaneous and then all button. So if you kind of know what category something would be in, this would be very handy for you and comfort if you're kind of not okay going room by room. I do a mixture of both. It just kind of depends on what it is that I'm working on. And as I said before, if you have a sim living already on the slot, this is the box that would be household inventory, and that's where you would go. That is pretty much the basics of getting to know our build by. Probably the biggest area that I would say to practice with is practice on building, as going into the first section where it says build, and click on these different areas, because a lot of them, especially when you're building like the house and the porches, when you click on different things, it has an add-on option to the left where you can do your half walls, your trim, and etc. like that. That's probably where the hardest part comes into. And the second hardest was probably just getting used to the grid. The grid does a lot of strange things when you're building. Like we can only do one side of the square. So you see how there's one big square. There's one big square here, but we can't just build a wall into that little square. There are no half squares. There's only one. So you can go diagonal, like this, and you can go all the way straight. That's the biggest deal. That's the biggest deal with building, is that we do have a grid, and it is sometimes the trickiest thing to deal with. Another thing to think about is when you go into build and you're doing your roofing. Your roofing is interesting. It gives you multiple different roofs to choose from. But when you're roofing, the different things that you can check with is you can have a raise in your lower. You can extend it out, in and out, and then you can also go left to right. So, as you can see, there's a lot of arrows on this roof. So, as I showed you, you can use this main arrow to go up and down, and then the other main arrow to go in and out. Of course, you can't go off of the grid. All right, so say I want this roof to be going this way, but I want to bring it down a little bit. And you see how you have these other arrows? So this top arrow on the corner is going to bring only the front and back out and down. The side little arrows are going to bring the sides out and in and down. Okay, so that's the difference there. But say whatever you have going on, say we want this side to be a little bit longer, but you see how it's taking both sides longer? We don't want both sides to be longer. What you're going to do is you're going to hold your shift key on your keyboard. I don't know what controls this is for a console, so if anyone knows, please comment down below. You're going to hold down your shift key on your keyboard. You're going to hold that little arrow, and it's only going to pull in that one side. So now we have one side that is longer than the other one because that's what we wanted. And you can do the same thing with the tops and the bottoms. Hold down your shift key and say you want to bring that side in and to keep the other one down. But of course, if you want to take them both in, then it would take them both in. But we're going to go ahead and pull just this side out. So we have this side long, that side long, the back short, and then this right side short. Another thing that you can alter and change with your roofing is this little ball here will make things concave or go convex. So if we want to go down and we want to make this roof have a curve to it, we could do that. And how can you use roofing? You can actually manipulate a roof to make it look like a slide. And then also, if you want to, let's actually put that back. If you want to curve it out some, then you would take that and curve it out. So now it's like you have a rounding to your roof. So that ball there is going to determine whether your roof is round, flat, or concave. And then you can click on your roof patterns. This is where you can change the type of roof that you have. We even have glass roofing, and other type of metal roofing, shingles, and all of these roof types also depend on the DLCs that you have as well. So you have base game, and then you also have like island living roofing, eco lifestyle roofing, and stuff like that. All right, so there is one thing that sometimes I have an issue with dealing with when I'm making rooms, is sometimes I come across this issue to where the room is separate and it has no roof. So let's get rid of this room. And so what had happened was I accidentally, like, say, made an extra room and it didn't really fit, or I wanted this little build out over here and something just wasn't fitting for us. Now, say that we wanted to close this off, and then I could close this off and it makes it a separate room. But as you can see, it gave me a roof over here, but this room does not have a roof. And sometimes when you're readjusting rooms or readjusting any type of thing, you may come into this where all of a sudden the roof is gone, you're trying to add it, you try to add a platform, that's not a roof, and like it's just going haywire. So as you can see, this is the bottom level. What I do is I go up another level to where I can see that I'm a part of the roof. I'm clicking on the room, and you see how this line has now turned yellow? I'm going to click on this highlighted yellow, and it says build a ceiling. And so now we have a closed off ceiling. Well, I said roof, I meant ceiling, sorry. I now have this closed off ceiling that is now seamless with the rest of our house. Now let's go back. And actually, let's go back and actually let's get rid of this area over here. So now we have this room and that room. So this was that room we had that extra little build out on, and you see how we're up on the upper floor and there is no ceiling, but now it has two sections. So this has their own yellow, we can build a ceiling, and this has their own section where that builds a ceiling. So now we no longer have random holes, and we now know how to add a ceiling onto a room if for some reason it just gets disconnected. I hope this has helped. Kind of you get the basics of what all is going on in Build By, and if you have any questions, please just let me know. And I will show a little bit of how you can alternate this little filter over here. Now, I do have some items in my filtering that do come with a mod. So over on this far right-hand side, it does have a section where you can filter out certain things. And I'm trying to remember what is a mod and what is not, so bear with me. If you want to break things down by style, you can click that. And then it'll bring up everything. Here, let's go to show all of our items. Once we get that loaded. So if I want to go to different type of styles, if I want to go to events, if I want something vintage, and again, this will also coincide with what DLC that you have. So if there's a certain type of style that you're trying to do, and it will bring that up as well. And so say we want to get rid of that. If you only want to build by color, so I'm going to be doing a purple build soon. So I will be using this because I only want to use things that are purple. So it will break down everything that is purple. Say you want yellow, it will break down everything that is yellow. So this filtering section over here can be handy. I really don't use it that much unless I'm looking for something for a specific pack or content, because it does break down what you have by pack. So if I wanted to only have get-together items, because I know there was something in get-together that came with it, it would show me all the items that are just get-together. If you have custom content, you can show it to where it only shows you custom content. And like I said, some of these, like Better Build By, I know comes with a mod. And then my kits are individualized. I know that's a mod. But just kind of go through everything and figure out if filtering out items for build by is something that you prefer, or are you okay with just breaking down by category or by function. All right, so after going through all of that, I feel like I hit on most of everything and how to get comfortable with build by and what everything is. If I miss anything, please comment down below and maybe I'll add a little short video to kind of fill her in. But I think we started from the top and made it all the way through our screen there. And so I was able to show you really a crash course of the basics of functioning and using build by. So if you've made it this far, congratulations, I appreciate you, and I'm hoping that you will get the hang of building and it'll be a lot of fun. I know I didn't hit on some hotkeys of some things that you can do in build by, and some of the hotkeys I did put in another video, but keep an eye out on that beginners playlist that I have. A lot of those are a double hit on there as well. So I want to appreciate you guys. If you haven't, be sure to check out my Twitch channel. We do live streams on there Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, and every now and then I do a couple pop-up streams where you can see some of my Sims play, and we have some giveaways coming up. So definitely check out all of my links down below in my description, and I want to thank you guys again for coming to hang out. Have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are, and this is Luna Galaxy out.